this meeting to order.
I joined the Sangamon County.
Hello.
Don't worry.
There we go. Okay, calling the meeting to order. I think it is 6 o'clock on Monday, May 15th. And we'll do the roll call, which is Renee O'Donnell, Brian Carlisle, Skip Smith, and Cindy Green, Town Manager. We're all here. So we're here to talk to Glenn a little bit. See if you want the position. Before we get started, I'd just like to remind everybody we'd like to talk to Glenn for a few minutes and go from there.
Before you talk to Glenn,
I have another one for you.
So I've just been handed a piece of paper that says, I'm assuming this is from the fire department.
yes, it is.
It doesn't really say who it is.
Nope.
I'll read it out loud so that everybody can hear it. It says, institute Glenn Williamson as acting chief effective immediately and considered for permanent position as chief of fire of Newburgh Fire Department. Glenn has the right to take someone as a witness into any and all meetings with selectmen and manager. I don't know if that's legal or not for an executive session. And, a liaison or go between Glenn and town manager to ease any tensions and act as a witness. Well, that's all fine and dandy. I mean, I don't necessarily agree with any of those points, but I'd like to, like I said, talk to Glenn.
Can I just state one thing before you get into?
Okay.
You don't have to listen.
You don't have to listen, I mean, you don't, if you don't want me to, but we've all talked about it as a fire department. We came 2 weeks ago with our olive branch, trying to move things on forward. Yes, we're here, you wanna interview Glenn. Those 3 points there are non-negotiable. If we cannot have that, we as a department.
Well, Glenn was emailed the job description.
Yep.
Did you get it, Glenn?
Yeah, I did, Friday, yep.
Okay. Do you have any thoughts on that?
You gonna start paying me?
Just wondered if you're in agreement with the description, the job description, which,
Well, that job description, much like the 4-page one that you gave me the last time, for $4,000, is a bit much for 4,000.
that we looked into that a little bit, that job description. It was the minimum requirements of the state. That's not something we just came up with. I just want you all to know, those are the minimum requirements from the state. I want to ask you a couple questions about what your commitment to the town is. I'm not going to, I don't see how we could hire somebody. There is, first of all, there's no position of liaison. I mean, there's no town position that says there's a liaison between the chief and the town manager. And whether it's, honestly, whether it's this board, or the next board, or this town manager, or the next town manager, I don't anticipate that ever changing. I mean, we can be the tall guy, you know, that's probably how it'll roll. But, the position is the chief works directly with the town manager. That means calling her and talking to her and attending some meetings and, you know, that sort of thing.
As far as my commitment for the town, I'm pretty sure I put more hours in than the 3 of you. In a lot of weeks, I put more hours in than Cindy does.
I guess I should
So
have,
there isn't much of a.
I should have
It's kind of
rephrased that.
funny that you're asking me about my
Okay.
commitment to the town
I'll
after 25 years.
ask you a different way then. How about your commitment to the job as the job description?
I never had a problem doing my job at the job description. I had a problem with the town manager micromanaging the job.
Well, just as it's written, the chief the fire department chief is an employee of the town,
Yes,
an employee. Typically, as an employee, you have a boss. You know, we all have one. And, the town manager falls into that category as boss, so.
yes, and there's a chain of command. And she holds me to that chain of command, but she doesn't use that chain of command.
I think that's going off course a little bit.
Well, the chain of command is in the job description, the part of the, me doing the stuff that I need to do. You understand what a chain of command is?
Yeah, I got a pretty good idea.
So she
So
told
a
me.
chain of command would be like if you wanted to buy something,
No,
you should go to
if-
the town
if I
manager,
want- If I wanna talk to somebody, she's my next step for me to go talk to her,
right?
and then she goes and talks to you guys. But if she wants to talk to somebody in the fire department, she should stop by me and talk to me first, and then go talk to her.
Well, I mean, sometimes I don't think that's out of
Well, it was
line.
non-negotiable with her. I couldn't talk to Gina about burn fire reports, or those burn things. I had to go to her, couldn't talk to Gina.
I just wanna be clear here. We haven't seen you in a meeting for 2 years. You know, we don't,
It hasn't been 2 years.
okay, a year.
Certainly haven't seen me since you quit paying me.
That's true.
It's
That's true.
been 9 months since I was here.
I'm sure that's true. But I don't think you were appointed either, though.
What's that?
I don't think you were appointed. Appointed
I was
as,
appointed.
as the town as the town. I think we're splitting hairs, we're getting off track here. I wanna discuss the job. That's what I wanna discuss, the job. I'll be honest with you. I'm not, these points aren't really, anything.
They mean a lot to the firemen.
I've been back on the board for 2 years, and all it has been is this, for 2 years. And historically, it sounds, I mean, I don't really know, I see a couple of former selectmen here, I might like to have their input, but historically, it hasn't worked very well. Has it?
I have bumped heads with all the town managers, but when I walked out of the meetings from talking to them, we come to an agreement. Except for this one.
Well,
All town managers and fire chiefs argue at some point or another. I don't know if any
well,
of
they
them.
don't, I don't think they argue continually for years on end, though.
No,
No.
and I didn't argue continuously with them. I do with her because I never get the same thing twice.
I don't know how to bridge this. I mean, you've gotta be willing to just communicate with us, I suppose. I mean, are you committed to, like, you know, the purchase policy? I'll go to that.
I was doing the purchase policy until I stopped getting paid. Anything over $500, I called.
I think that's a bit of a stretch.
No, if I was gonna spend over $500, I would call Skip or Cindy. Cause Cindy doesn't answer her phone all the time.
Out of here?
There's not much to add.
Yeah.
The problem seems to be between Glenn and her.
Mhm.
If this is gonna be a problem continually, someone has to give or go. Cindy's not going, apparently. How are we gonna get rid of her? Why
Well, the
would,
Board of
Why would
Selectmen
we?
fire her,
why would I?
because you don't do nothing now.
Don't do nothing.
Good thing I can't hear most of what you're saying.
Yeah.
But
I don't feel our.
I wanna keep going, but I don't wanna have liaison officers between her and him and Cindy. I don't want any of the bullshit that went on, none of it. We have a new department, a municipal department. There is an ordinance in place that we need to follow, state laws that we need to follow. This letter right here says, from the lawyer, tells you what it's supposed to be. Now, whether I like it or not, there are things that I have to do as a selectman.
I will follow the state law.
What'd you say?
I said I will follow the state law. I have a pretty good municipal background. got
Yeah,
a
I
little
know
bit of
that,
training.
Glenn. I do know that. I know everything about you.
I know.
Have
what
for
the laws are.
years. And I'm trying to figure this out. And
I
if
will
you
give you
think
that.
this is all hard on you guys, try sitting in my chair for a while and think about it. This isn't easy. And it's not easy for any of the rest of them. I've been a firefighter. I know Glenn. I know all of you pretty much. Everybody sitting here. This is not a good deal. None of this is a good deal.
But I don't see how it's ever gonna go forward with
All
a,
I'm saying is
I'll do
work
my
with her fine.
minimum, I'll do this, you know, we can get that standoff and it's just right back to where we started.
But it seems like your attitude is that it's a one-sided problem, and that's a bunch of bull.
Well,
It's not a listen, it's not a one-sided deal. You've got two parties that can't get along, you've got reasons. We all know there's reasons, we understand, but
we also have had Glenn in before, privately, in an executive session, and tried to work through these things. And you know what we got?
same thing I'm doing, big deal.
That, right
We've
there.
seen him
No
ask to go
answers.
in and he
No.
was denied.
No answers.
Yeah,
He
but
was
you're
here.
going back. He
Nothing's
said
changed.
that he would
Nothing's
go
changed.
ahead and work with you and follow the state laws and stuff.
Yeah, let's
So let's go ahead,
forward.
not back.
He said
Well,
he would
all right,
follow the state
we've
law.
heard from everybody here. I'm just looking at these two former selectmen sitting here. Do you guys have anything you would like to add to this?
You don't wanna know what I want.
Well, when I was a selectman, we used to butt heads a lot, and Glenn actually quit to my face one day. And he came up to my shop and cursed me out in my shop, quit, walked out of my shop up to my house. He wasn't in a town setting at the time. That all had to do with because we didn't want him posting signs on a canard, people wanted to park at the old town office and bring their children to the daycare on the Canard Road. And we voted as a board because the town is responsible for those buildings, the selectmen. So we voted to remove 2 of those signs right in front of the old town office to allow the parents to walk their children up to the daycare. Glenn wouldn't know because he didn't come to the meetings. He didn't come to our meetings either. Very seldom. Linda was our go-between. And he quit because he was upset with that and gave us, I think it was a formal letter of
Yes,
resignation.
Warren had it, we looked at it. Also, they had to park there because if the road was too icy, they couldn't make it up.
That's why they couldn't get up over the hill.
Yeah.
Right.
And the residents asked if they could just park their cars in front of the building. No, that was too much because we were stepping on his toes. But those buildings are town property, they weren't done. So we couldn't, we were always butting heads, we butted heads a lot. And he did quit on
Or
us.
anything we suggested, for improvements, he didn't wanna do it our way, he had to do it his way. So, no, we have butted our heads with him too.
Okay. Do you have anything you'd like to add?
Well, you know, the last meeting, we discussed this, I saw an olive branch. And towards the end of the meeting, things seemed to to turn a little bit. And I could see some of this friction start developing again, to the point now where, at an ultimatum.
Right.
And I don't deal well personally with ultimatums. It just doesn't seem to me that it's a workable situation when there's all this friction.
I agree. I agree.
Well, they waited for quite a while to get an answer too. They've been
Well,
waiting
if
for a
you,
couple
if you
weeks.
really, you know what my off-the-cuff answer is? No to this. That's my answer.
No to that paper.
No, no to it,
No to all three counts on that paper.
no to all three counts on that paper.
Okay,
Enough.
you're on your own.
You're on your own, fire department is
Let's
done.
go, boys.
Everybody's good.
Good night.
Your seal commence being in the back row.
Renee,
Yes, sir.
can you legally have a liaison in a executive session?
I don't think you can have
I
a
don't believe you
liaison.
can. I believe it has to be,
No, you can't.
the town manager can come in and the
They
selectmen.
can opt to have it in public session, if
Yeah.
it's an executive session involving people.
So legally,
they
you couldn't
can
bring a
have it in
liaison
open
in,
session.
You could not bring, well, there's number two on there,
Unless it's
Glenn.
legal counsel,
because it's an employee issue.
Right, it's an
unless
employee
it's
issue.
legal counsel.
And it's supposed to be private.
Glenn
Yeah.
has the right to take someone as a witness into any and all meetings with selectmen and manager, which sets a precedent right there. It draws a line right there for me.
They're
And-
just telling you they don't wanna work with the town officials.
And a liaison or go between Glenn and town manager. And you know, just for the record, because I know we're all recording here and everything, just a second. Just for the record, we've already contacted all of our surrounding towns and said, they described the situation and said if they don't get their way, they'll probably do what they just did. And all surrounding towns said, we are aware of it. We're ready to help you at the drop of a hat. I mean, it's a volunteer fire department and that sort of thing, so they're all aware of it. I don't think we're gonna be without coverage, and I don't think we're gonna be without
How
a
can
fire
you
chief for that
How can
one.
you say we're not gonna be without coverage if they all just walk out?
We only have 3 interior firefighters, first of all, and our guys are all volunteers. A lot of them are at work during the day. Herman's fully staffed, 24 hours. Carmel's staffed 24 hours. They have 1 person on at night. Hamden is staffed 24 hours, full-time firefighters.
But you only have mutual aid if it's mutual.
Well, that's why we sat down with them and said what the story was. I don't think one person's gonna leave another person out to dry, hang them out to dry.
Do you have a written mutual aid
Yes,
agreement?
Yes,
yes.
The town has one?
town has a county
Is it
mutual aid
county or
agreement.
state?
Get your hand away from your mouth when you
So-
talk.
The town has a county mutual aid agreement.
It would be nice to see it.
Is it signed by the town manager and
No,
not the
it's
town
done
chief?
by it was the Board of Selectmen, it's been in place for,
Can we get a copy of it?
I don't have it with me right here, but
No,
I
but
can
if,
get it.
if
You
I
certainly
stop
can
in
get a
tomorrow,
copy of
can I
it,
get a
yes.
copy of it?
Yes.
And we've already interviewed a few people, and we have some people in mind, especially there's one person who is local. He's a firefighter.
He lives in this town?
Nope,
Is he as qualified as Glenn?
yes, sir. Yes, he is.
Where does he live?
He lives on the Bog Road, which is just off, go across
I
the
know
north.
where the bog road is.
Okay, he lives right on the Bog Road. So, I don't think that I know that change is hard, and I know that, I don't see how you're gonna move forward with somebody handing you an ultimatum, and then saying, if I don't get my way, I'm quitting.
Well, it's like the
It's a-
4 of you have ganged up on him.
The 4 of us have ganged up on him,
No.
they came in here last week, the last
No, I
meeting,
mean on Glenn.
stormtroopers with
I was here
petitions and
last
everything
week, I
else.
was here the week before.
Yes, I know you were there.
And the 4 of you, Glenn wasn't here, and it was all about Glenn.
Glenn has every right to be here. He's fully aware. We had to send him an email that said, if you are really interested in the job, you need to come to a meeting. So then he came to the meeting.
But
You know-
it still, by all appearances, seems like he's been ganged up on.
There's,
There's a long track
Correct.
record of Glenn and all the former boards and the former town managers all butting heads. It's gone on for many, many years.
And he agreed.
It's just that every other town manager has given in to Glenn,
And what?
as far as I can see.
Yeah.
And Cindy won't.
yes, Steve.
Yeah, you butt heads with him, you talk with him, he'll agree with you, but down the road, he'll go do what he wants to do in the end. So, it's
Well,
gotta stop.
that's what I have found. If we had had any other municipal employee ignore the purchase policy as often as he has, people would be shouting at us to drag them out and hang them up by their thumbs. I just don't know how to tell you all how often, for 2 years, it has been nothing but the fire department, the fire department. Their term was, what was going on with the fire department, the fire department. You can't get any cooperation to move forward. You say you want to move forward, you can't get any cooperation to move forward. You have to embrace change a little bit to move forward. Yes,
Don't you have a nice brand new office in the back of this building that they could use,
yes,
but refuse to use?
yes, yes. we
And
do.
our new fire chief, whoever it may be, will be using that.
We offered it to them also at one point.
Willingly using that office without fighting us on it.
Yes, sir.
How is he abusing the purchase policy?
Well, the purchase policy is in place for this, over $100, you're supposed to just call the town manager. I know that over $100 is not much. You get to fill up a truck, it's more than $100, so that's not so bad. But over $500, you're supposed to come to the board.
Get pre-approved.
Say, okay, hey, guys, I need, I'm gonna go in, we need, 3 new, I don't know, radios, cameras. And they're $500 a piece, so that's $1,500. The board said, and I've never seen it denied when he did come to the board. But come to the board, say that, okay, sure, ask Cindy, is it in their budget, where are they gonna take it, everybody's cool, but we approve it, off they go. I can just sitting in this chair, we've got an invoice for $650, $1,500, and most recently was $2,500. Never knew what it was for, sometimes we have to track it down. Cindy's asked for copies of commercial inspections, our trucks, that's a big insurance deal, gotta have a copy of the commercial inspection. He literally told her that they don't get one. The trucks were exempt, they don't need one. Well, why would you even tell her that? I mean, we could go on and on and on with this all night. So she calls the place up and gets a copy of the commercial inspection so that we're covered insurance-wise, because if that truck gets into an accident, first thing they're gonna do is look at the truck.
Has he ever presented a bill that was unnecessary?
Well, that's hard to say.
I mean, the objects that he is purchasing
Right.
are necessary objects to run the fire
Yes,
department.
and you know, that's not necessarily, we've never said, you know, we think this is unnecessary. We've never really said no to him when he came to the board for something. But there's still, that was the only thing noted in the auditor's letter last year, was people working outside the parameters of that purchase policy. So that's why it's a big deal.
Your policy was in place so that you could approve the purchase prior to the purchase,
Right,
not look at a receipt or a bill when you go to pay the warrant and then say, what is this for?
Right.
And you've got to prioritize purchases. I mean, there are maybe if you're purchasing 2 things, both things are needed. Maybe you need one over the other. And there's only enough money to buy one.
Is he being denied purchasing objects because of his personality conflict with her?
No, we just don't have any communication with him. We literally don't have any communication at all. Yes, Steve?
Okay, he has to put a budget in when town meeting comes around.
Right.
Okay? Then, after that, he's always coming in and nickel and diming for extra stuff. If you don't know what's happening in your department, you should put that in your budget. Don't come back and nickel dime us.
We have never gone over budget with the Newburgh Volunteer Fire Department. You go back through every year. Don't throw that one out, Steve, because it has never gone over the budget that the town approved.
Okay.
Never, ever. If you wanna take the books,
Never said
I
that.
can go out and give
I
you
didn't
25.
say that.
Never said
That's
that.
exactly what he's saying.
No,
that
because
you're
we always
nickel and
found the
diming over
money,
the
some
budget.
emergency fund for it, so.
Okay, if we,
If you, why is this even going on? If you've already interviewed people, it sounds as though you guys have already made
well, we
up
had
your
to
mind.
start thinking about it. We did interview people. He was more than
That's what
welcome.
tonight was supposed to be.
Yeah, that's what the executive
That's
session
what
is for.
tonight was supposed to be. He was supposed to
I
come to
couldn't
the
even find
board.
notice of this meeting.
Huh?
I couldn't even find notice on the city's town's website that there was a
Well,
meeting
they don't put
tonight.
those out.
It's posted on the thing and it was
Wasn't
scheduled
posted
last
down
week.
by the
when we
road.
had
If it's not posted down by the road, I didn't get an email like I usually do. I didn't get anything.
The one down by the road says
No.
June something, doesn't it?
We just put the regular ones down on the road and then, but I thought she put it in the emails.
Yeah, but if
It's
there's a
been posted
car
on
running
the
down the
board.
highway, you'll send me an email. Why not send an email?
Well, I thought she had it in the emails, but she evidently didn't, so.
So, personal curiosity. What kind of commitment do you have from these towns? Is it in writing?
Yes, we've had a mutual aid agreement in place for,
No, I'm not talking about a mutual aid agreement.
There's no mutual aid if we don't have a fire department.
See, what you have for an issue is when you don't have a sitting fire department, you have nobody to call mutual aid.
well, that's fine, we can address that. We can
Well,
get
the
to-
problem though is somebody's house has been burned to the ground before they get here. Because they're gonna respond from their town, it's gonna take them that much longer to get here.
What about an
Then
accident?
you've got an insurance liability because the insurance company says, you got a fire department sitting up here. Why isn't it working? I appreciate your points. I understand the conflicts going on.
Mhm.
But I don't support the bullshit between the fire department or the town office. I think we need to grow up and become big people.
I couldn't agree with you more.
And I think we need to start working together. Like I said, I don't support either point of view. I support the town in the fact that I pay taxes
Yeah,
and I wanna make sure that there's coverage. If those trucks sit in that station, somebody's house burns to the ground, you probably wanna be ready for a call from a lawyer, because they're gonna be calling up to say, why?
well, I appreciate all the things that you're saying. And honestly, we have been trying to put the grown-up aspect on us for a long time. This is a board that was in place, I've been here 2 years, you guys were on a board 3-4 years ago
Mhm.
now?
They didn't get.
I've
rid of
been
it,
here
did they?
11 years
I
now,
was
and
just
it's
gonna
been
say-
almost
I quit
a
because of all the
constant
harassment.
conflict with one.
I was
This
here
gentleman
too,
right
though.
here, can you address that?
You ran your mouth.
Aye.
Hi,
I can't hear very well.
See,
You
he
were-
knows me because I've been in
No,
that
I
fire
never
department.
was.
No.
I'm not a fixer.
I'm a former.
And I understand where you're coming from, and I don't know what we do, Alan. I really don't.
The only thing I'm worried
Having
about,
them all walk out of here tonight wasn't the answer.
no.
It
But
didn't
my
help us
homeowners
get a
is
new
gonna
chief,
go up
it didn't help the
because we don't
situation
have a
in
fire
front a
department.
bit. It's something a 12-year-old child would do. They got up and walked out. Now, I understand supporting your chief.
Last
There's a
week
reason you
walked
aren't
down
at
the
Let
the
him
fire
speak.
department anymore, and I'm not gonna dive into that, and I don't care. That's your business and whatever. Same reason I'm not there. But, you know, we're trying to figure this out. We really are. With this new ordinance and with all of this, we got rules and regulations we have to follow. The lawyers are telling us we gotta do this, the state says we gotta do this. We have to get a chief, then we have to apparently get new firefighters now, cause none of them are gonna join us, without Glenn. Glenn has been a constant battle, and you know that, you can't tell me
He's
you
not the only
don't.
constant
For
battle,
a
it's been a
long
running battle
time.
right along.
There's two sides to a battle.
You
It's an
weren't here
ongoing
last
battle.
Monday.
Yeah,
Skip, you were not here last Monday.
Yes.
They were, we were, and they walked out on us. They said, she said, we're done, and out the door she
We
went.
had adjourned the meeting, we had already adjourned the meeting.
Yeah, boom, and you were gone.
No,
I
we
said,
we
I
had
have a
adjourned the
question.
meeting, and Linda had one more question.
I had
And
one
I
more
said, so
question.
go ahead, Linda. And she asked me a question, I said, I don't know what you're talking about. She literally said, you never know what I'm talking about. And then I said, I've had enough for this evening. I did say that. Meeting was adjourned, I was just being polite to Linda, trying
You
to,
were not polite to me.
I didn't even
You don't
address you
even
here.
recall, do you?
I didn't even, I just said, we're done here, we're done. So this is digressing, yes ma'am.
I don't wanna take you off subject, but in your interview process, was there any qualified candidates that are residents of the town?
Nobody from the town of Newburgh applied. I'll say it like that.
And the one question I have is, what criteria are you using to hire someone?
The same job description that was given to him.
And what amount of salary are you going to offer them?
We have never talked about salary for the new job, not with Glenn.
Not
He's
many
from
of
the
them.
$4,000.
Not
You have
with any
people
of them.
applying for a job and they don't know what they'd be
We
paid.
just did pre-interviews to see if they'd be in.
We had to go into executive session to discuss all that with Glenn.
Right.
Oh, you were just talking about that you thought he was here tonight to be interviewed. Well, if it was an interview, why would you have to go into an executive session for an interview? And why wouldn't you ask your acting fire chief to go into that interview with him?
If it's a personnel matter,
It's a personnel matter, we're interviewing
right,
Glenn,
you wanna,
and only Glenn.
right, you can't interview him in public.
You can't do a job interview in public.
You just said a few minutes ago you could have done it in public out here.
He can request it to be
Right,
done
he
in the
can
public.
request it, I don't wanna do it in public.
An
he
executive
requests
session
it,
can
we
be done
can,
in
yes.
public session if he requested
Well, I
it.
think that's what that paper actually said.
No, that was from the fire department, that wasn't from Glenn.
He did say that he would
The
follow.
fire department does not talk for Glenn, Linda. Glenn needed to talk to us himself, not Brent, not anybody else. Glenn needed to talk to us. He doesn't need a cheering crew, he doesn't need a squad of backup. He needs to be a man, come up here and say, I want this job, or I don't want this job. That's as plain and simple as you can get it. Great, boil it down.
You need to calm down.
Either
Right, he
he
needs
did
to
or
be
did
quiet,
not
let him
want the
talk.
job.
He needs to calm down.
He's just doing his job.
Yeah,
but he doesn't need to raise his voice.
I'm gonna
Glenn was
make
just
a
doing
motion,
his
I'm gonna
job,
go
too.
into executive session per MSR number 1, section 405, 6A.
Just us, the
Yes,
board and
yes.
the town manager?
Yes.
All right, I'll second it. Okay, we're gonna recess for an executive session. It is 6:36. And we'll be right back.
This is what you call typical small town.
Ours was never that bad. Neither
I'm-
was yours.
I've
never seen so much housing.
oh, I've seen it worse than this.
I'm like, I moved to a small town, this is going nice small town community, and this is what's going on. This is what I'm seeing. This is what I'm raising my children in, is a community like this. It's sad.
That's typical of most New England towns, believe it or not. We had a situation in Millinocket where we had an armed guard in these meetings because people were pulling guns on the council. That's true.
Oh my god. Well, we know how that, I don't think we had that.
But, it ain't that bad yet. But I think, everybody has a different personality. Yours and mine, I might argue with you over the care of the books or something like that, because I might think I know something you don't. Okay. But that's the difference between two human beings. Nobody is all gonna think the same. But the trick of the whole situation, and this situation here, is to communicate. Talk out your problems without the prejudice. And arrive at a mutual understanding. But the two sides can't see.
I think
How about
well,
the,
they want to get them, I told tonight
town
not to.
website, guiding principles,
They need
town
everything
website.
processed. Quite frankly, I don't trust the one on yet.
Yeah, that would
I
probably
work
work.
with her on other things.
Well, it's right on the website, but I don't think
And
you
she
can
told
follow.
No, it's not. You can follow it all.
Cindy should the salary was Cindy $10,000.
I do like your handwriting.
And then they sat here tonight, and when I asked Renee last week about the salary, she said she didn't know anything about it. And they told Keith,
But you see, they develop,
$10,000 for the fire chief.
Unfortunately,
not just them, but most town councils
they're
in
gonna
the
have to
state.
start thinking much larger scale.
Oh, they're gonna pay $70,000. Oh, and I hear the new guy that they're interviewing is the one who got fired from county.
We're involved, you're gonna listen to us, you don't like us, that's.
They asked him for that. Yeah, because he lives on the ball, he's close. Well, the guy's from he has
When they just turned the whole thing aside, and she walked with it.
I'm interested in this, because Lynn has us. He has a personality, it takes a while to get to know. And he's, but I'll tell you what, I would love to see a man in this town that knows more about putting out your house fire than he does. Now, I don't care what his personality is like, as long as he can put out my fire. You know?
Well, I'm going to surveys, I've worked surveys, I'm not looking for surveys, everybody. And if my house gets fired up, run down, it's on fire, run it up, put the word down.
And then tries to back
and
them
they
up
got a petition of a bunch of towns.
with documentation.
I don't really like, my question is, like, let's say there was a fire. Next town, what's the cost of another town come here and
Well,
It would cost something.
It's gonna
I don't know
cost.
what it would cost, but it would cost something.
and then,
they need to have all the stuff
it
listed
Yeah,
as part of their job description.
Yeah.
And then that way if they write up certain returns, then that's it.
Yeah.
And nobody from the town will not put into the job.
But this guy, not me.
I found this at home,
Well,
and I have a few questions.
like I said,
Why, in this newsletter, do they make recommendations? When you have to be able to get back and,
well, let's see.
who wrote that?
Well, see, that's the problem. They can't actually do
Why
that.
wasn't everybody
They can't
represented?
circumvent the process.
All that does is represent what the board
They might
wants.
think they work for her,
And what she
They do.
but unfortunately, it's one of those, they all work for us.
wants. Town newsletter, it should not be.
Well, it
How long has
makes
she
sense.
been
I
down?
understand the speed.
How long has she been down?
Well, choose town clerk first and then the.
Tax dollars are a terrible thing. But
Not exactly sure, but I can't anyway
things can be resolved. There's things to be done by email. As far as the reports and stuff, this is the issue.
Putting personal. Very difficult for a job when you cannot that should not have been part of that. Promoting that question before.
He can tell what she
It's
gets.
right in there.
She has to have somebody else here. Well, in a case like that, then I would send her an email and say, that's like, no, that's not the way it works.
Oh, do you want me to hold your arm up? Get tired?
Oh, yeah, higher rate. You know, and then
Everybody was right.
more propaganda than information.
Cindy, Well, get in, three, I guess you consider against those.
I don't think that they ever signed any foundation. They certified.
I guess afterwards,
That ain't all the maps, is it?
It's all tax maps. I was just checking all the family
I
properties.
thought there was more than that.
Quite a few here. 14 of them.
So I that's 2 years. This year,
Oh.
Check all the butters, see what's going on.
you're quick about it, Lucille.
Oh, apparently, we cannot afford chalk.
This guy.
Oh, it's all gone into my list.
Oh, he told him he could.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah, some of them just, let's see, when you actually named it, I don't recognize the first name I don't know.
You had Combs from Hamden come on here, just realized you to Hamden.
Well, that's good.
Two sides of the street, the little one is just gonna take 3/4 of an hour to fill the tank. Oh.
I don't know
Yeah,
what
well,
year.
I think they should do that, they look at the 250. But then we had already got back to the house to find
That wasn't.
No, I'm going elsewhere. I joined the big side of
They granted
do a lot of stuff. I'm in the league. I'm thinking about joining the United Farmers Association.
Oh, you left town in 1980? Before.
Thinking about it.
How old were you when you were
Slowing down.
Just before, I mean, and then the second, so the first one said for 2 years.
Your wife still in the
That
hospital?
would have been about $13,000.
4 days a week, about those days, I work 10-hour days.
When you met her, when you job.
I don't work, I don't work weekends anymore.
You shouldn't have to.
Wear and tear on the nozzles.
I don't work, those rush orders, I don't want to go to rush orders anymore. I call them. Tomorrow morning.
And they just,
We call them in, so I want to like those. Few companies I work for, both cars.
But I told my
oh, they go, every time they want to talk about something, they go into executive session.
Well, two periods, one is that award, I can't remember what it is. And I was out there sitting talking, and I see this guy running around the street. So I talked to him. He got a heck of a job, I guess, at Hustlers. Communication.
How'd you happen to see him at the troop reading? So he was on a flight.
That thing channel 2 does. That awards for.
Oh, yeah. Channel 7. Oh, Channel 2? Well, he came back.
Channel
Was it Channel 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, they sub them out once in a while. They bring the students in, the students do stuff.
Yeah. That's what he was doing, supervising them, because we was at Hustlers.
Make sure the students are doing it the right
Yeah.
way.
And then he says he takes the summer and goes down to white water rafting, so.
Keep saying he'd like to retire. I don't know if he's ever got paid.
That pretty little apartment along the cash.
have to have a fire chief involved.
They do it for groups, individuals.
He called her to tell us that they were taking them in for the inspection. She said, well, that's only a $20 fee. He said, what did you say? She said, well, it's $20 for it.
Does his wife work with him?
No, I don't think so. She doesn't like that. On the trucks, and she couldn't believe it. She got the bill, then she believed it. But she couldn't believe it wasn't a $20 fee. And the thing is, they go there, stay all summer long. Work all summer. Freightliner.
In time enough to get back, to get ready to go.
It's just like, I guess he doesn't get, a lot of times he'll go on a canoe trip somewhere for someone, and she's left there by herself. She goes a couple days at a time, and she has to deal with the customers. She's always some rep, some canoe trip somewhere.
I went down to Norfolk.
She's only going to do another winter, one more winter to go. I think she's had enough. Florida? Yeah, she'd like to go to Trent. She's got to rent it, but then she would be able to, kind of afford your change.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it is 6:45, and we are reconvening, having returned from executive session. Okay. All right, so, ready to discuss town meeting items? Okay. I just started the selectmen's letter, you guys can just read it and let me know what you think about it, and all that kind of malarkey. Warrant. Cindy, I wanna talk about the mill rate first.
Those papers I sent you, there's a copy of them in here.
This right here?
That's the fund balance,
Okay.
but these here are that spreadsheet I put up on the thing,
Yep.
and it shows you, one of them, page 2 is this year, and page 3 is last year. And if you look at the very bottom, it shows the mill rate was 15.5.
Right.
So with all the changes and adjustments, this year, estimated 15.8.
$15.80.
Yes, so that's a little better than what we had predicted.
Right.
That Brian, you had said something about the administration being broke out.
Yes.
The administration for different departments,
On
is that
this
what you meant?
graph
Yes.
here. But that's just gonna show town office, planning board, assessor, code enforcement officer.
That's what administration is,
That is.
that's what's in that
Yeah.
category.
Yes,
It's not admin.
it's not just the office,
Okay, all right.
so. And the other thing you had mentioned was this. Did you
Yes.
understand what I was
Kind
talking
of.
about?
Kind of, but
If you
When I-
take,
when I just look at percentages of something, just look at the whole and just take percentage of that whole. This,
but what, the way that I did this is because the school They have their budget and they take away their revenues.
Yeah.
The county has their budget and they take away their revenues, and that's the
So-
So
difference.
basically,
So that's what I did
So
with
that
the,
you're comparing apples
yeah.
and apples.
You wouldn't have to help with triple.
So basically the blue part, your blue section of your pie graph here
yeah, is the town.
is the town budget. It's not much. Can you label that, just under the numbers that you have here?
Percentages,
No, not percentages, but like under the percentage of 1,105,000.
it says it right on the side. Like, see the color
Yeah.
code?
Yeah, I see the color code. Just wanna make sure everybody else
Yeah,
sees it. Is our town report in color?
no. That's the hard part. If I do this, it's gonna be in black.
Right.
And like, if I do a colored page, it's extra.
Can you put?
I could do these
We'll just
as,
do it slash marks, we'll
I
have,
could do this as an insert, once they're printed like we did before we mail them out.
Could we just put school budget?
Yeah.
School budget commitment,
Yeah,
county commitment, operating budget,
okay,
town operating budget.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I would do, is just label each area,
okay.
so that, and then it's right in the town report and everything else.
And this one here, the front one showed you the differences in
Right.
where the changes from last year to this year. And that's how I got that bar graph.
Okay.
On the back was from that sheet there, I just took those numbers and
Okay.
I could put an explanation, Brian, if you wanted, under administration and just explain that administration covers the office, the assessor,
Yeah, I just
the
thought
code
it would be
enforcement.
a good idea to, spread it out a little bit so that people will know what it encompasses.
Okay.
Do you need a motion for the warrants tonight, or can I read them and digest them again?
You can read them and digest them, but I need them
Soon.
very shortly.
Okay.
The-
You don't need a motion then for us to accept these?
You would need a motion and a second to vote.
Okay.
If you wanted to do next, we discussed that, I'm supposed to have the, report to the printer next Monday. So if you guys wanted to meet next Monday to, once you have time to go over this, and
Okay.
we could even do a morning meeting.
Do you wanna do it this week? Wanna do it Thursday?
These are the-
I'm
Oh,
kind of busy,
okay, you busy?
yeah,
Okay.
for this week.
Yeah,
But if you have a quorum, I don't have a problem with
okay.
the two of you.
Are you comfortable with all the warrants?
Yes.
I read them once, I just like to make sure I go through them again. Are you available for a meeting on Thursday,
Sure.
George? Thursday afternoon?
Yeah.
4 o'clock-ish?
Yeah, oh yeah.
4?
Tommy gets out of work at 2 at the latest.
Yeah. Have you read those? Have you read the
No.
warrants? Okay. So why don't we meet at 4?
We're gonna
and-
meet Thursday, we're gonna take these home and go over them, and then
Yeah.
we're gonna meet Thursday afternoon.
Right, and we can also,
These are the same.
read over that
Yes.
selectmen's letter
Yeah, yeah,
and approve that or make any changes,
Mhm.
just let Cindy know and
looks
it's all,
pretty good to me, but I'll read it again
It's all on the
just to make
computer.
sure.
okay. So let's meet Thursday at 4 PM.
we'll just recess tonight.
Okay, all right. And at that same time, you'll need you need to vote on the mill rate, correct?
No.
No.
No, that's done when we do the tax bill.
I
That's
thought we
just
had to
giving
do
you an
commitment.
estimate. An estimate of roughly what it's gonna be, but you guys determine that at tax billing time,
Okay, all right,
so,
okay.
but,
So the mill rate, well, we've gone through that, mill rate's gonna be 15.80, basically. Do you have anything else?
No.
Yeah, I'm gonna recess till Thursday at 4 p.m.
Hold it.
Okay, we'll take a couple more comments, yeah?
New business for the next selectmen's meeting. I would request that.
Please address at the next selectmen's meeting, list who wrote question 24 in town crier. Why were the board recommendations in there? I don't understand some of these. We can take them into consideration, that's for sure. I'll share this
One
with.
of, it is moving.
They would like that addressed. The next selectmen's meeting is on Thursday. Brian will be busy. We're just gonna address the warrant. And that's all that's gonna be on that agenda for Thursday.
And next Monday.
When's our next scheduled meeting? Is it next Monday? We have another?
Well, you didn't schedule one, the one I was talking about Monday was, we're
Was
doing
the-
Thursday.
Right. I think our next meeting is June 2nd. Is that it?
Yeah, June,
Our monthly meeting is June 2nd?
June the 5th.
June 5th.
June 5th. That's our next regular meeting. I'll give you this copy, so you can have it. Yes, Linda?
Two things, you've got to get somebody to issue fire permits, because every weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, they're calling my house and wanting to know who's gonna give them a fire permit. And you gotta get somebody in there to do it, because I'm just getting tired of explaining that it's not my job.
Okay.
And number two, your dedication for your town report, that's not, it's up to you whether it works or not, but in 1994-95, Ron Darling, the dedication was to him, served as third selectman 91-95, served on the Newburgh Planning Board for 7 years, member of the Newburgh Volunteer Fire Department, for a period of 10 years where he held the position of president from 89 to 93. Thank you for all your years of service to the town of Newburgh. And this was in the town report for 94, 95, I believe.
Did you have help?
I spoke to her today.
You did?
Yeah.
What were her?
She was all right with it. She's gonna work on it.
Okay. all right.
But you've done it for him once. I mean, it's a,
Does it set a precedent to
What
do it
was the
twice?
problem with fire permits, Linda?
there's nobody to issue them from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
I get mine online.
Sometimes they can get through, sometimes they can't, some
Tell
people.
them to call my house. Right now, I have a book of fire permits at my house for emergency uses. If people can't get a permit, I'll issue one. I'm
So
the
he
assistant warden to her for now. Until we have a fire chief, I will issue them.
Okay, just wanna know who to tell them to call, because
Tell them to call me.
good enough.
Okay.
I didn't want to do it, but I'm going to until we get something in place. We're going to make this happen and it's going to work. There's no doubt in my mind about it.
So what's your plan to move forward
What's our plan to move forward?
with the fire department and fire coverage and stuff?
Just move forward, I guess. We'll be contacting the surrounding towns and saying our fire guys walked out, I guess, and making some decisions about a chief.
Will you be formally advertising for the position of fire chief?
Probably not.
By law, don't you have to?
No.
I think you're wrong.
I think you're wrong too. I think you have to advertise.
Well, we'll look into it. We'll look into it. We always look into it before we agree on anything,
In
so.
the past, too many assumptions have been made. Need to verify.
I would agree, there's been a lot of assumptions been made. on either side. Yes, ma'am. I'll make a motion that we adjourn, excuse me, I make a motion that we recess until Thursday, the 18th?
Yeah.
Thursday, the 18th, at 4:00 PM. Second, all in favor? You in favor? All opposed, okay, good, okay. We are recessed.
What's that? What? He's on the same thing. No. No, the printing just works a lot, 'cause I did.